So I've been mentoring Freddie for a long time. So I've been with Youth Plus from the beginning. I think I even spoke in your first event at All Saints. So yeah, I'm happy to have been invited to come and speak. The previous speaker said he probably was the oldest person in the room. He had not noticed I was here. But like a good politician, I embrace the word youth. I'm a youth also. Great. So I don't know what I should say about myself, but before I speak about myself, I want to explain the feel, think, grow as a philosophy that I use in my life. And so when I was asked to speak, I wasn't given guidance notes, so I decided, let me use my personal philosophy and how I live my life and the process of building legacy, which is a process that I go through on a daily basis. The feel part, I'm a believer that you have to feel anything first before you actually take action. If you think about the organization Youth Plus, it was created in someone's brain. It was a thought. When the founder, Freddie, decided to do this, the first thing is he actually felt, and I'm sure he must have envisioned where the organization will go into. And then you move from feeling to action. So the logic part, think. Okay? The execution part is you bring logic into it. And then it's only after that you are able to grow. So we had prepared a summary about me, and it's very long. Let's not get into it. If you meet different people in Africa who know me and ask them about Peter Nduati, there are many people who will tell you resolution insurance. In fact, most people, that's what they think. If you go to Truecaller, that's what people think of me. If you go to the sports area, I am known for rugby. I have a nickname in rugby. If you know it, please don't shout it out. But then there are people who know me as a music producer, songwriter. So I'm known in a particular area as a music producer. I've been writing and producing music for the last 21 years. And then there are people who know me as an investor. So I currently run two groups of businesses, Peter Nduati Group, and then True Black Group. A lot of people know True Black, but the people who are doing the audio visual here, I'm the chairman there. But there's some things people don't know about me. My largest business is alcohol distribution. So I distribute for Diageo in South Nyanza with headquarters in Kisii. I also distribute for Pepsi in Nairobi with a different business. I'm also involved in sports production. So I'm that kind of person. It's very difficult for you to box me. So the brand that I live and the brand that I enjoy being identified with is entrepreneur. I do not run my businesses. My businesses either have a CEO or a general manager who is a partner. So I don't wake up at night to worry about the businesses. Apart from Peter Nduati Consulting, I am the consultant. So that's the business that I can wake up daily, execute myself, and earn some money from. Apart from business, I run a Peter Nduati Foundation. Peter Nduati Foundation is an organization that is focused on education and health mostly. And on the education part, we have bursaries more on the boy child side. I'm also a member of the Aspen Institute. And the Aspen Institute is an organization that identifies leaders in different places, the academia, entrepreneurship, political side. And the aim for the Aspen Institute is to try and bring ethical-based leadership. So I'm in a phase of my life that I'm going through called from success to significant. You can build businesses, you can build wealth, but it's just money. So the phase I'm going through my life is to ensure that I am significant in what I do. And the word to use there is impact. So my story can be told by other people. Let's go straight to legacy. What do you want to be remembered for? A lot of speakers who will come here probably will want to speak about what you leave behind. Okay. And whenever we think of wealth, we try and think, what will I leave my children? What will I leave my grandchildren? I'll step away from talking about that as far as legacy is concerned. So, I'm sorry, moving faster than I thought. You'll hear very many descriptions of what legacy is. To me, legacy is something that's built a long period of time. And it's something you start, even now, whatever I'm doing now is heading towards my legacy. So legacy is about the ripples that you create through your actions, choices, and interactions. And it's something that you can start today. And legacy starts with you. So legacy is how you make people feel. But the first thing you need to do when you talk about legacy is understand yourself. Legacy is a reflection of your personal journey, values, and it's not something that you impose, it's imposed on you. The values that you live in as a foundation of your legacy. Then living your truth. Your legacy stems from your core identity, knowing what truly matters to you. And I'm going to ask you to go to your notes, to your notebook. Think about a person who have made a big impact in your life. It could be someone you admire, could be someone you live with, it could be a relative. What is it about that person that you really, really admire? Just giving you a minute to write down that person. And I'll ask just a volunteer to tell us the person and what is it about that person they admire. Any volunteer? Yeah? The hand's up there.
So the quality that I admire is persistence.
I want you to tell us the person and what is that quality, why do you admire them?
Well, it's my mom, and I think she's very persistent with her dreams. And I've seen her overcome a lot of barriers, and she keeps on going despite the setbacks. So I think you need to have a certain degree of persistence as well, and I admire that.
Thank you. If her mom was not around, that's the thought of her mom. That's the memory of her mom. Anybody else? There's a hand up here.
Good morning.
Morning.
So funny enough, he's in the room. His name is Eugene Okanda. So last year I approached him about some certain interest. Guidance, chap, I got whatever I wanted. So what I admire about him is consistency, and I see online he pushes people like a lot.
Okay.
So that's something I admire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With those two people, what is it that you notice? How they make me feel? How do the people make me feel? It's first an emotional decision. So I'm going to talk about someone who I really, really admire, Dr. Steve Mainda. He's been my mentor for the last 23 years. I met Dr. Mainda in the year 2002 when I went to the Insurance Regulatory Authority to register Resolution Health, a business that I founded many years ago. He was the chairman of IRA. So I met him as a regulator. The first thing that I admired about Dr. Mainda is his approach to me. I was a young guy. I was 30, 32. And of course, I didn't have everything that I required to get my license. But he took me through a journey. And eventually, I asked him to be my mentor. And up to today, he's my mentor. Well-networked, values. He lives his values. He's in the late 70s. And a leader in the business world. He's not an entrepreneur. He's currently a chairman of 7 organizations. But I go to him with issues, from personal issues, from money issues, from leadership issues. And when I'm in my 70s, I'd like to be him, act like him, live like him. The way he lives his life today, he just runs boards. And I admire him. The guy in the middle there, by the way, was not part of the conversation. We were just looking for a photo. That is a CEO of Brita Group. He also happens to be a friend of mine. I also admire him. But this is the person who, if he would go, I would propagate his gospel. We become so close that I've been to his shags. His son actually now sits on one of my boards. That's the kind of relationship that has moved from being my regulator to a mentor, to a friend, and I can't even call him my dad because of my relationship. That's his legacy. And obviously in the law of natural justice, if he goes beyond me, I'm going to propagate his gospel the same way I'm telling you about him. Who do you want to be remembered? He's not here, he doesn't know I'm speaking about him. What will people say about you when you're not there? That's your legacy. So, I want to expound on the think first and talk about purpose. It is said the 2 most important days of your life is, 1, the day you are born. The second most important day is when you discover your purpose. And I'd want you guys to take time and think, why did you come to this world? I'm not religious or spiritual, so I won't connect that way. But why you? We have no kids here. Why are you the sperm that won? And sometimes you need to go to the silence of your heart and ask yourself, why am I here? My purpose in the world, and the day I discovered it, I felt some calmness. I'm in this world to love and share. That's my purpose. It's not to make money, it's not to be a good father, it's not to run big businesses, it's to love and share. But to love and share mostly with the people around me. The people that are brought into this world, my progeny, and then the rest of the world. And first I have to start locally, then Africa. So my purpose is to love and share. So ask yourself, when you're thinking about your purpose and develop your purpose, what brings you joy? What is it that brings you joy? What can you do without being paid? And then what matters to you? What is that itch that you feel I have to keep scratching in my journey? So your legacy begins when you align your thoughts, actions, to what you feel. So once you connect with your purpose, then plan your intention. So what do? I've identified my purpose. To live towards my purpose, what's my plan? What do I intend to do? Okay. So your legacy doesn't happen by accident. It is something that you work through and you take daily small actions to get to where you want to be. A lot of things, people, when you think about legacies, what will I inherit? So what can you do today to create impact tomorrow? That's a part of feeling. Then after that, you're able to grow. Embrace your growth. Legacy is not static. It keeps growing. It keeps evolving. Learn from challenges. Adapt to change and keep expanding your horizons. So the fact that you've made a mistake or the fact that you did not achieve what you wanted to do, there's a word we call in strategy pivot. At any single time, think, what can I change? But since you've already identified what your purpose is, the journey becomes much, much easier, even when you make mistakes. And as an entrepreneur or as a business leader, I like talking about my mistakes more than I talk about my successes. Because successes will speak for themselves. So through this presentation, I'll be talking about things that I've done not so well and what I've done to fix them. Over the time I'm going to be with you for this weekend, you'll hear me talking a lot about emotion. Okay? feelings. Because anybody in leadership or in business here, you know how lonely it is? I'm sure most of you guys who've been in entrepreneurship, you know the 3 a.m. challenge. All of us have been woken up for 3 a.m. by something, and you're not able to go back to bed. I don't know why 3 a.m. Where you find all your problems waiting across the seat waiting for you. You just wake up, I'm waiting for you. So a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with anxiety. A lot of entrepreneurs struggle with making decisions without data. Anybody who has started a business, you cannot wait until you have all the full data before you take action. So what do? We go with our gut. Twice, I've made serious decisions and not listening to my gut. Let me speak about the elephant in the room. You all know I set up Resolution Health, became Resolution Insurance. In 2017, I sold the business and I moved from Kenya to Maryland, which did not work out. But at the time I was negotiating to sell that business, my gut was telling me I was making a mistake. And it turned out to be right. I don't want to talk about the people who bought it, but I want to talk about the people who bought from them. Because then eventually the business was taken under statutory management. It's going through liquidation now. I went through a process in 2022 where I was trending. I was in the US. I was trending for 6 days. I stopped trending when Kibaki died. Because something bigger has to happen for you to stop trending. So Twitter. The worst experience I went through was in the supermarket in Washington, D.C. I met a Kenyan guy. I don't know him, but we Kenyans tend to know each other. Who came and told me, hey, I hear you stole 6 billion and ran away to the US. Please note, a newspaper in Kenya, one of the top business newspapers, the year before I had written a big article, Nairobi's latest billionaire, because I sold my business for a lot of money. But the same newspaper, 3 years later, writes an article, The Rise and Fall of the Insurance Maverick. So it's people who send me, Kenyans, we have another habit of sending each other WhatsApp about me. You're sending me an article that I've already read. I got that article. So I came back to Kenya to fight that battle. I eventually won the case against the newspaper and the shareholders. It's a story that I've started talking about. I kept silent for a while. This story has to be told. I did not listen to my gut. I was also greedy because I had run the business for 15 years and I thought, I need to get some liquidity out of this. The second mistake for me was chasing money, a number. And I achieved that number. And ladies and gentlemen, if you chase a number that you want your net worth to be on a particular amount of money, it may come. You'll not be happier. Okay? And then you're doing things like this and you keep asking yourself, okay, well, the money has come. But impact, what have I done with it? Don't ask me for the money. I know it went because it went. And I invested in a few businesses. Is there a question? Yeah, I invested that money into many, many businesses. But one of the big businesses, one of the businesses that I set up failed within 1.5 years, and I lost 250 million in my investment. I started manufacturing cosmetics. A brand called Livana. It still exists. We sold the brand. But I went into a business that I did not understand. We went to China, bought a plant, set it up, started manufacturing. We had 39 SKUs from shampoo, from nail varnish. I didn't understand that business completely. Yet, I went in and put in money. Mistake number one, the partner that I went with. And second, the fact that I didn't pay school fees. I can talk about that forever. So the lessons for me, A, listen to your gut. 1. 2, don't go into a business if you don't understand. Pay school fees first. Intern, get someone to mentor you before you actually get into a business. There's a tendency that when we are younger, we also want to do what someone else has done. My generation, people used to open kayaks. I still see kayaks in the streets. Perfect competition, a kayak there, a kayak there. The consumer maybe wins because of that direct competition, the pricing becomes lower. But don't also just copy your buddy. Oh, my buddy is doing gambling. Let me start. There's nothing wrong with imitating or copying someone and maybe adding something else. Like, for example, I consider myself an insurer first. I would still set up an insurance business, but I wouldn't set an insurance business that looked like the one I had or the ones that already exist. Yeah. You always have to come with what you call your USP. So, feeling, emotional awareness. Even on a day where things don't go right. We are told fake it until you make it. But when you're in the silence of your room, don't fake it. Feel. Because it's only after failing that you can actually decide to take action. So emotional awareness is important when you want to build your legacy. So think about what gives you joy, what gives you fulfillment, what gives you a sense of purpose. So take a moment today and write down, what do I truly care about? My current pain point in my life is the quality of the foundation that we're getting as entrepreneurs here. I don't know how many of you guys have had area on your doors. It's the biggest pain you're going through. And whether you are right or you paid your taxes or not, utalipa kitu. We are in an environment, and it's not just Kenya, where post-COVID, and we are recovering from that. The foundation for you to do business is becoming harder and harder. My last week is week, end of month. And I like describing, apart from pedagogical consulting, I feel like I'm an ambulance. I'm sitting at the corner waiting for a problem. Then I see a call from a GM from one of the businesses, or a CEO from, it's either, Chairman, our sales do not, our cash flows have not met, we need to pay. Our payroll will not meet our payroll. Or we will not be able to settle that facility we own the bank. Or KRA have sent us a notice. Or our landlord is asking for money. And if you're in several businesses, you can imagine that it's an everyday process that I go through. Rarely do I get a call, oh, we won that contract. Usually, good news is never kicked upstairs. It's celebrated at that level. So on a daily basis, you're waking up as an ambulance. And an ambulance just parks at the corner waiting for something to happen to take someone to hospital. That's how that's my life. A friend of mine who went into business recently asked me, is it? Yani, I'm going to do this and pay taxes and pay salaries for people, and I told him this is it. Never romanticize entrepreneurship, guys. Never think of romanticize. It's not sexy. Entrepreneurship is slogging, but it's also very rewarding. Even though I have failures, I have very many successes. And I take those failures that I've gone through as a process, as a journey. Someone wrote to me recently on WhatsApp and told me, there's a story in Nairobi that you're going back to insurance. Please know I'm going to quit my job and come back to you. Because he worked for me, I can't even remember him. I was trying to focus on pixelated WhatsApp photo. But he told me, if you go back to insurance, I'm coming to work with you. So those are the kind of things that give me joy. Or when I go into the street somewhere and I meet someone who tells me, my mother had cancer and you guys flew her to South Africa and now she's cancer free. Those are the things that give me joy. Unfortunately, I'm in other businesses where I don't want to be told how the drink made you feel because I sell alcohol. I do that for money, guys. All right. So, think. The logic side. I've told you, you must first of all, feel. Bad or good, feel. Then after that, you go to logic. Vision. Once you understand what you really, really care about, and it's touching you, it's time now to think about your vision. What you want to create and contribute to the world. Those words are deliberate. What do you want to contribute to the world? Because if you're going to a business for you just to make money for you and your family, then you'll definitely fail. People make money by sorting out human needs. If you look around where you are, and you can see human suffering. There's some pain people are going through, and you find a way to relieve that pain, you'll make money. And that's the reason why you can go to Naivas and pay a particular price for the same product, but the convenience store near you is probably double the price, but they still make money. Why? They've identified that I need close. That's what we call a convenience store. Open later, be closer to the people. So think about a pain that people are going through, an inconvenience people are going through. Once you resolve that human need, you make money from it. If you go to business just to make money, then you'll fail. So, back to the question, how do you want to be remembered? Guys, in 80 years, none of us will be remembered. It's so sad because I'm in my 50s. So, my last born is 22. Let's assume before she's 30, she gets a kid. So, in 80 years, obviously, I won't be here. That child probably will remember, but her child will never remember me. I never met my grandfather. So think about what legacy. There's a man, the founder of AAR, that's where I cut my teeth. I worked in AAR for a long time, and I left as CEO in Tanzania. The founder of AAR, a guy called Ben Beckman. I remember him all the time. He's gone. He died many years ago when I used to work there. But I remember him because of the lessons he did. And also, AR has grown now. They have a hospital. They're in many countries. When he started that business in 1984, he never knew that he's going to touch a young man from the great one day who will grow into the Amazon-based business and become the first black CEO. So I value that. I would want people to speak some nice things about me when I'm gone. What did I do to them? What impact that I made to them? Okay? So this phase of thinking is a plan to align how you feel to what you want to be remembered. And that's what your vision is. Grow, which is the last part of my foundation. The growth mindset. So as I mentioned earlier, legacy is not static. It's a process that you live through. And as you go to any direction, you face errors. You get to a bridge that is broken. You get a mountain to climb. So every experience, every challenge you face contributes to your evolution. The Livana brand, where I made a mistake. To me, I paid school fees. I burnt that money. Okay? All I have to do is to make sure I don't make that mistake. And I don't want you guys to make that mistake. I need to transfer the knowledge of why I thought I made a mistake. I also don't want my children, who I hope will one day come work with me, they don't work with me. Okay? Gen Z, you guys are the hardest people to please. When in my imagination, I really didn't write it down. I thought that my kids will come and work with me and run the businesses with me. They're doing their own things. My oldest daughter is my competitor. She set up an event business, so she competes with us. Is it a good thing? My second daughter is an architect. It's nothing. She doesn't fit in well in my business. She did work with me in the soda distribution business. Then one day she told me, I did this degree, I need to go and do that. Do I see her maybe becoming chairman of Nduati group? It's possible. It's possible she may in the end. But as parents, we try and put our kids in boxes of things they don't do. And you guys are refused to do traditional jobs. I have a daughter, my youngest daughter is in digital marketing. She's always in her room. As guys wear a suit and wear leather shoes and go to the office. That's how we believe work is. So in the last 3-4 years, I've discovered work is no longer our place. She works in her pajamas and her bosses pay her. I hope I can convert her. But even if I don't convert her, I hope that the leaders that I work with in the businesses will grow those businesses to make sure that I meet my purpose. Because the other thing you need to understand, as you get older, the energy you had when I was 32, when I was starting business, to what I am 55 now, I don't have the same energy. So right now, I normally look for the right partner with the right attitude who aligns to my vision. And that's why I don't mind sharing shares. I don't mind giving away shares. What we do as Kenyan businesses, and especially us guys from the mountain, we want to own and own alone. So when it comes to scaling, because the business has to scale, entrepreneurs struggle. One of the things that I consult a lot about is scaling. How do you have a company in Nairobi, and it has a subsidiary in Zambia, and it's being run by Zambians? There's no way you know what's happening in that business. So you have to build processes and systems, dashboards, to be able to know what they are doing there. I have businesses in the East Africa region that I don't visit. But yet, because as chairman, I go for board meetings, I get to know what is happening. You have to trust people. You cannot do things by yourself. And to grow is to transfer your knowledge to another person and then tell them, I will lead you, but you have to execute. And that's my philosophy. Even the way that I'm going through the phase of Nduati consulting, we are collaborating with other consultants. Eventually, because I'm going to get older, the business has to survive outside of me. And something will happen and I live here and I get an bus. The businesses have to survive me. And that you will not be able to grow unless the business can survive without you. Okay? So this growth phase is learning from your mistake, embracing change, and understanding that personal growth is essential for sustaining your legacy. So, filling the core of your legacy. Emotional awareness, and just a summary. Emotions as your guidance. You have to allow yourself to feel. Feelings as a tool for clarity. Okay? And then building emotional intelligence. So, I was talking about the action. Now I'm going to talk about how you build your vision. So once you understand what you care about, it's now time to think about your vision. What you want to create, and I mentioned contribute to the world. The intention, because your vision is about intention of what you want to do. So what does your ideal future look like? I live my life in 5-year phases. So I make sure that I have clarity, very clear, of what I want to be in 5 years. It doesn't mean that I'm ignoring the next 5 years, but the 5 years after that are kind of hazy. I can see where I want to go, but it's kind of hazy. And then 15 years I don't care much about. Now, when you take those 5 years, you need to break them down into annual plans, quarterly plans, monthly plans, weekly plans, daily. Every single day, you wake up in the morning and you find a big rock outside your house. A lot of us try and blow that rock by putting dynamite about it. The easiest way to finish that rock is to chip it little bit by bit. And that's what vision is about. That I need to climb that mountain, so it's preparation. I need to exercise, I need to have water, I need to have the right shoes. And then eventually, the results speak for themselves. The planning of the process is not the issue. So visions leads to your action. And then the map for your journey. You all have had this from primary school, setting smart goals. Okay? Goals that you can measure. Okay? And it's never grand ideas. A lot of us, when we think about legacy, we always think about the many cases we hear. Someone died, their wives are fighting, a baby mama has come through. That's not legacy. I started therapy a year ago. One of those guys who used to think that when we're choosing one therapist. It is the best decision I ever made. So my therapist tells me my biggest weakness is I want to be the general manager of the world. Means I meet you when you have a problem, I want to fix it with you. Not that it will make a difference in my life. You cannot be. But I understand because I'm a choleric, that's how cholerics think. Any problem that comes, you want to fix it. So what my therapist has helped me do is accept. And one of the examples he gives me is my height. I cannot hide. I can enter a room and I feel it. Feel as in kujaza. Not to feel, as guys from the mountain, some things you can't tell. Like we can't tell the difference between heart, and heart. Heart. Unasema yote tu the same. Nyumba is the same. Feeling pain, it's heart, and heart. So when I say feeling right now, I'm saying kujaza. So it tells me, accept your height. You have to make more money to travel business class, because when you travel coach, you'll struggle. Your bed height cannot be the same. You will never go to a shop and make sure that you can get a suit that fits you. You have to make it. So it tells me, since you've already accepted those things, okay, you have to accept your failures also. You have to accept that you are not Superman. And change your little corner of the world, and the rest will take care of itself. So don't go all of a sudden and say, the democratic space in Kenya is so bad, I'm going to go and change it. First of all, I'm very apolitical. I'm not interested in that space. I will never run for a political seat. I may give them money if I find the right person who can change the country, but I will never be a politician. So acceptance. So whenever you're sitting, also know your shortcomings. Okay? There is no way at my age I'm going to break Bolt's record. There is no way, because I can't even run. There's no way I'm going to break them. So also accept your weakness as you work through where you want to go. Acceptance is a key issue. Set smart goals. Where do I point this? Because I keep clicking 3 or 4 times. Nurturing your legacy through growth. Because your legacy will only be actualized if you're growing. And the more I speak about legacy, you can tell I'm talking about positive things. You can be known as the best thug in the world. It's your legacy. But is it really the impact that you want to have? So when I'm talking about setting your vision, working on a daily basis, I'm talking about doing positive steps to make an impact in the space you are in, to make sure that people remember you positively. Okay? So, understand your journey, the role of growth, adapting to challenges, and lifelong learnings. The statistics that the gentleman from Mentorship put here are scary. And sometimes I'm in them. I'm late in paying a loan. Okay? Mwisho wa mwezi nafika. So I've just told you guys I get sometimes calls. I've already received a call. In fact, of the 7 businesses, only one has made this payroll this month. You know that they won't pay, they'll pay. Some of them must pay today. Where I'm going today, I'm going to pay salaries. Yeah. When you're running a group with 1,200 employees, 1,200 employees in Africa, I will never know them. So I'm going to be careful when I'm a rugby not to climb on tables and start singing dirty songs, because the guy there could be either my customer or my employees, and it has happened. So the minute you get into business, sometimes the business forces you to act in a particular way, especially when you're selling services. The last mistake I'm going to tell you about, because I can tell you many mistakes. In the last business that I ran, the brand of the business was associated with my personal brand. So what we did, deliberately we cultivated it. I sat with my PR agent and we cultivated that. Whenever you think about the business, you think of me, and vice versa. I copied Bob Collymore and Michael Joseph. I don't know how old you guys were, when Safaricom started, Michael Joseph was the first CEO. And people identified him. Even today, when people meet Michael Joseph, they actually think, Safaricom, I made that mistake. And the PR agent at that particular time, well, her heart was in the right place. The years later, I realized it was a mistake. Because even when I was trending negatively in social media, it's a business that I had left years before. But even after today, I still meet people who tell me, hey, where is the 6 billion? It's somewhere, but not with me. Okay? So it's important that when you're going through that journey, you keep learning. The only way you're going to grow is learning quickly, make your mistakes quick, fix them. And then stop regretting, move on. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing I can do about what I did yesterday. Okay? But I have control of today and tomorrow. So, you need to live your legacy daily. And before we start reading these things, how many in this room have a mentor? Well done. I ask this question often because I believe in mentorship. And if you don't have a mentor, shame on you. Shame on you. Because in this journey, you need help. And you need to, a mentor doesn't need to be like a superhuman being, someone who has done these things. It could be someone you admire, someone who's on the same journey with you. A mentor can even be your age. But it's someone who you can sit with, okay? And open up to the challenges you're facing through. But the most important thing for a mentor is a person who can call your bullshit without you feeling bad. A lot of us who are in sales, we know how to bullshit a lot. But your mentor brings you down to the level and tells you, have you considered this? Have you considered this? Or they tell you straight up and you're bullshitting. So do not go select a mentor who cannot challenge you. You want to make sure that your mentor is someone who you trust, you believe in, and you can be able to talk. Entrepreneurship is lonely, guys. It's lonely. Because sometimes as a leader, when you cough, the company catches a cold. So sometimes you have to be very careful on your behavior. And that's why you need a mentor. Okay? So every decision you make, no matter how small, contributes to your legacy. How you treat others. And again, that's a journey of how you treat people. How you invest your time. And how you live your values. There's one thing that I talk about as values that I'm proud about, the fact that I'm never bribed. And you can't survive really in business. So what I do is I make sure that when bribes are being done, I'm as far away from them. But on direct, I've been arrested by cops very many times for doing wrong things like driving on the wrong side, changing lanes, obstruction, talking on the cell phone, and I always go to court. Because I always feel I need to be punished for the mistake that I made. It's very inconvenient. But if you decide that's your value, you have to live through that value. It doesn't mean I'm an angel, I make a lot of other mistakes, I just haven't been caught. So, legacy as a daily action. You need to think about how you want to be remembered, what you want to achieve on a daily basis. Okay? Then building a lasting impact. So you don't need to be the richest, the greatest, the president, the world leader to make an impact. When I set up Nduati Foundation, I set up Nduati Foundation because of the many requests that I used to get, not from relatives, but from people about paying school fees. Because I'm a believer, and I hope you guys agree that the only way out of poverty is education first. And that's why I set up Nduati Foundation. Initially, Nduati Foundation used to take 2% of profits from the businesses. But now I find sometimes when the businesses, especially since COVID, are not paying dividends, I have to sell assets because that's my belief. And the bursaries that I've given, it's not for people that I know, and I don't want to know them. There are some who come looking for jobs after they graduate, and I tell them my job was to take you to school, not to give you a job. So you need now to go out and hustle. That's the impact that I want to leave into the world. Because all the things I've done and the successes I've built is because of people around me. So it behoves me to go back and help the people who cannot. I don't have relatives who require that. I stopped paying school fees a long time ago. My kids have graduated. But I'm still on this earth and I cannot see a pain that I should try and fix. So I decided the hill I'm going to die on is bursaries. Okay. The power of small acts, and I'm about to close. Consistent small steps. When I talked about chipping, you're a big rock. Okay? You are the architect of your life. So you need to take ownership. Even when you make an error, you need to take ownership. But also celebrate wins. Small wins. That LPO you got today, celebrate it. I didn't say sherehe. I said celebrate. Don't take your profits immediately and when you haven't been paid, you got an LPO. And you do that. Is Westland still the Dunda capital? Gen Z. They used to call it, you would remember, the Electric Avenue. Does it still exist? It died. Utaniambia pala watu wanaenda. That's why we used to spend our money when we were employed. Okay? Create your own path. As I said, legacy is you. Don't copy anybody else's. You can imitate and panel beat it to fit you, but create your own path. Legacy is a choice. You choose. You have to choose that this is how I want to be remembered, this is what I want to make people feel, and this is what I will leave behind, and bring in your values on it. Your legacy starts now, today. On closing, remember this. If you remember anything that I've spoken today, feel, think, and you will grow. Thank you very much. I still have time for questions. There's a hand up there. I'll give you number 2, number 3. We're here for a while.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Mine is just to say and applaud you for the great speech. Personally, I feel inspired, and it's not a question. I know there are many people here who are equally ashamed. I'm ashamed I don't have a mentor. So I have an ask. Do you have a process of helping people or individuals like us get out or shed this cloak of shame? Thank you.
All right. So let me answer. My memory is very poor. I'll answer every question after this asked. I won't write them down. So I'm very passionate about mentorship. So I'm in 2 organizations, and I'm happy, see me after this, to connect you, where we are many mentors. And our current struggle is actually getting mentees, not the other way around. Before, when I joined Greenhorn, it used to be lack of mentors. Now, the challenge is we do not have many mentees. I'm mentoring with 5 people. I try not to go above 5. And mine, by the way, is contractual. We sign a contract, the things you must do and the things that I must do. And a lot of my core mentors do the same thing. So we'll clean your shame. Next.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelvin, and first of all, I'm happy to hear that your daughter is in digital marketing.
Yes.
Because I own a digital marketing consulting firm called AdClicks.
Okay.
My question is, what is your biggest fear, and what are you doing to overcome it?
Okay. Excellent question. My current biggest fear is to finish well. Okay? I started very well in career. I cruised and did very well, made money, build wealth, but that can dissipate. And COVID demonstrated. My net worth dropped by 75% COVID. Because I thought I was well invested, but what did I invest in? The event space. You all know what happened. We got EBL canceled our contract upset because there was no marketing being done. We had to let go of people. Second issue, I'm invested in sports. There were no sports being played. Third investment, music. I used to do big concerts. There were no concerts being done. We tried to do hybrid events during COVID. Did not work. And I had invested heavily from sound, artists that have signed to my label. A lot of artists who had signed, I had to let them go. And they went to some of them with my records. My skiza monthly used to be 200,000. Today I'm getting like 2 Gs, 3 Gs, at the maximum 20 Gs, because I haven't released a new song since 2023. And then another issue that I made a mistake, not that I didn't make a mistake on. I did a project in 2022 of recreating Zilizopendo. If you guys have heard Cinema Kosa by Had the Band and Arrow Boy, I wrote that song and produced it. Guardian Angel, we did a song Guardian Angel. Atemi, we did a song called Johnny. That project was funded by one of the Kenyan big banks, and they paid me 50%. When we executed the project, the minute we put the videos on YouTube, a company that used to exist many years ago, CBS Polygram, One of the king and claimed copyright. I own the composer rights. I don't own the glass master rights. I don't go into the technical issues. And we know how YouTube works. If someone puts a strike, you have 2 weeks. If you do not resolve that in 2 weeks, they take away. They took away my channel. With over 2,000 songs that I've done over 21 years, songs that I did with the Kina Mr. Lenny. Mr. Lenny was signed to my label. Songs that I did with the Kina Nameless in the early years. Some hip-hop artists you probably don't know. How many of you guys know Warogi Wawili? You know Warogi Wawili? Yeah. I used to produce and do big concerts, but that killed my asset like that. By the time, the case is still going on with Kekobo, because we now needed to get experts to show, one was sampling, that I did not sample the music. I recreated the music. So getting affidavits done by producers, and a long story short, that happened. So remember, the first 3 businesses that I owned required people to come together. COVID made people could not come together. My 4th business is what? Alcohol distribution. People were not drinking. Okay, day drinking was happening. But in the territories I distributed, bars were closed. And remember, COVID came, closed, then a new strain came up. And which area of the country was hurt most? Nyanza. I work with Nyanza. 4 businesses, okay, with a turnover of 4 billion a year, all closed. Remember, I thought I was well invested. When I go to Kikuyu, my 4th largest business was real estate. Who was buying property? Nobody. So in my 40s, I was very well invested. It took one act in the world to bring my net worth to 25% of what it was the year before. So what am I doing now? I'm rebuilding them. And it takes time. Because some of these businesses, like the sports business, was like starting again. Fortunately, Africans love sports, so the opportunities are there. But I felt it, and I jumped out of it. And some businesses, like I used to own an airline, and I'll tell you guys, never invest in an airline. Never invest in an airline. I set up an airline in 2017. I had pilots and engineers from Canada living in Lavington, having a good time. We're not flying. I have to pay them, and I have to pay for those planes because they are leased from Cessna. The same time during COVID, the rest of you guys were enjoying that you have a tax break na mnafanya kazi nyumbani and you're dead drinking. I was crying tears. But what can you do as a man? You wake up, dust yourself up, and do it again. After all, as guys cremate, but if I was doing bad, that all I need is 6x6. Google a story called How Much Land Does a Human Need? And you realize you just need 6x6. A lot of us were chasing land. So anyway, I like telling my mistakes, as you can imagine. I try not to talk about successes because those can speak for themselves. But the only way I can impart knowledge to the people I speak to, and the only thing I can share is mistakes, so that you don't make the same mistakes. So don't invest in an airline. At least make sure you understand it. And nobody can predict what's around the corner. Maybe you have another COVID around the corner coming. Okay? Or you are behaving, maybe all of a sudden you start fighting with Sudan. Could happen. Always try and think about what is happening around you. Next question.
Here.
Yes, ma'am.
On this slide, my name is Faith.
We have too many mics around. Hi, Faith.
Hi, Peter. I would say maybe in the room we are the same category, maybe later millennials.
Yes.
And I'm glad to be here because I'm a very passionate mentor in the Youth in STEM network. Many of these youths are in my network and mentoring over 2,000 girls over in Africa and beyond. And when I heard that guy stand there and say the shame, and the way you answered, maybe the one reason that I came in is to connect with you, to be able to get a lot of mentors to a lot of mentees, because I have a whole group of mentees looking for mentors. That is one thing. The other thing I would love to ask you is, in all the successes that you have had, some of us, we won't count successes because we are not reaching in the billions. maybe in our career life, what we did and what we earned, we cannot get there. But when I'm listening to you, the losses you have had to go through, and these young people, when they lose, maybe they've lost their phone, they've lost their laptop, they've lost their business that they are starting. The way depression hits them so fast that they're not able to dust themselves again. I will challenge you that we have a forum where we can let them know that some of us have lost and really lost. The other day I watched my car go with the auctioneers because I was like, I cannot sustain it. I don't have the capacity to pay that amount of money, and I let it go. Where are we going to be able to have a platform for these youths to understand that for us who are pushing significance now and not success, not that we have really gathered the wealth, but we've gotten to a place where we are saying we want to leave our legacy. And they can start where they are by letting their friends know, their circles know, you know, I lost this and here I am. And I keep going and I keep dusting myself off. My son, I want to finish, who was working with Housing Finance Bank, a very young man, at 22. He pushed himself, he learned early. He did actuarial science. I pushed him really hard. At the loss of his father when he was young, we went to India, came back in a casket. And I looked at this young man and he was done. He was like, Dad was my mentor and he's gone. Now, I don't think you're able to handle the shoe and all the other things that you're gonna do after this. But I really, really want to walk in the shoes of my dad because I believed him. I heard him say what I would be. And I want to challenge the ones who are here who are not in a mentorship platform, that they need to have a mentor. And I remember holding my son's hand and taking him to a mentor, a man I believed in. Not because I needed a relationship with a man, but because I knew that this man would hold this young man to the level that I needed. And today I have a testimony. That guy, my son, sits in a data analytics department, almost heading a department at 22 years because of how he was mentored, whether his father was there or not. Today, he's worked, I will not say which department, please don't go reporting. He's already tired because these agencies, he's already tired. And I'm telling him, man, you needed this job desperately. Now he's looking at the taxes and he's saying, now I understand why at 45 you said you don't want this job. You want to do something else. So how are we going to help them and create platforms, even with Youth Plus, festivals and all that, where we have conversations that are relevant to what they are actually going through? And I hope to be able to connect with you and we can be able to answer that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your story. And thanks for sharing, because that's a very tough conversation. I've avoided parenting. Most of you guys know I'm a single father. I brought up these kids alone. Grief is something we are not able to handle. And a lot of people, when a parent dies, it's like their life has ended. And you need to take that same approach. Feel, grieve, get up, dust yourself up. We are all going to die. So I like that. Forums like this. When Youth Plus started, and Freddie was giving me his big lofty ideas, to be honest, I didn't know that one day it will reach this. Okay. Today when I speak with Freddie, we do not discuss basics anymore. We discuss challenges. And when he faces those challenges, he comes and tells me, I can try and help. Okay. Can try and help or connect him to other people because I don't have answers to everything. So for you guys sitting there with problems, there are people willing to help. It's the same thing that I talk about governance. and I hope you can contract us to come and do governance for you. What consulting does governance. That you run a business and you don't have a board, either an advisory board or a commercial board, you will fail. You will definitely fail. Because a business without proper governance, okay, nobody will come and buy your company if you don't have governance. The first thing that an investor comes and looks at is governance. How do you run your things? Do you have authority matrix? Who, make a checker? What decisions do you make yourself? What decisions do you hand over to the board? What's the process of recruitment? People may not come, by the time an investor looks at your books, okay, that's usually the last part. It's that issue of how you structured your business and governance. Mentorship is also a part of governance, because usually you bring in board members who have better skills than you, have more experience than you, so they also mentor you as a business owner. Okay. Then you learn through that process and you build structures of governance across the entire business. It is important that you, even if you have a small business, get a board. People are willing to serve. Some of the boards I serve, I don't get paid anything. And anyway, who has ever made money from being a director of a company? Don't. Sitting allowance for a chairman is 80,000 at best. I've been chairman of public companies. There you get paid a bit more. But it's not that it is money that will blow your mind. Get like $1,000 a year. It's not worth your time. However, the impact you make on that particular business. So please go look. Okay, go look for directors who can come and help you. You can start on an advisory board, so you're only calling on when you require advice about something, and eventually convert it to a proper board with board committees and all that. Stories that I like talking about. Let me keep going with questions. The person with the mic. Hey. How many mics do we have? Someone else, go ahead.
It's a lot.
And I have another 10 minutes.
Hi, Pitambugo.
Hi.
My name is Nduati. Sorry, Nduati. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Elizabeth Makakech. I worked for you at Centric Air Ambulance.
So you know how we lost?
Yeah. I remember selling you the product and you bought it. So my question to you was, it's good you've mentioned that you like talking about your failures.
Yeah.
I was first row looking at maybe some things people would consider a failure, despite it being circumstantial. So I'd like to ask, in your planning or in your ambition to go and open a company and say, I'm going to hire people and I'm going to drive this through, as the leader, what vision do you carry? And whenever you think of bringing up a business and seeing it through to success, do you usually think I've made an effective effort to communicate the vision to the people that I bring on board, to carry it on and ensure that everyone will be able to drive it through, in a sense that it will help the employees, it not being just a job, but knowing that it's livelihood for other people, as opposed to it just being a dream for you and something that you want to accomplish as finance or business that you're bringing through. So whenever you as an entrepreneur, you sit down and say, I'm going to start this business, I'm going to contact investor A, B, or C, because they are mentoring you in what they were able to do. At the back of your mind, do you have that? And I know you can only do so much to ensure that it succeeds, but what goes on in your mind as an entrepreneur when you're setting up a business to ensure that it is successful? Also, what do you look at when you're hiring the people to drive your vision, to ensure that they actually implement that, to avoid
Wow, I need a whole day. Those questions need a whole day, and I'm writing a book. I hope you'll buy it. I've had very many approaches on how I set up business. Some of the businesses that I've set up is someone else's idea. So come and tell me, come with an idea, I think we should do this, then I say, all right, let's expand it, let's do a strategy. Let's think with the end in mind, can this business be a 1 billion Kenya shilling business? Then, once I buy into it, I always like visualizing. How will the business look like? Okay. Then, once I go through the process of designing the business, that I do alone, then bring in other people now. Then validate that strategy. by looking at the environment, the resources available, availability of talent, and all that. But I'm always clear that I will never run these businesses perpetually. And that's the reason why I like hiring people who are smarter than me. One of the things that I try and do is because I hate mundane and I hate operations. The head of operations has to be someone who's detailed, financially aware, astute, someone passionate about cost control, right? And I work through with them. So my job as a leader is to continually checking in on the business, communicating my vision, because I'm a vision carrier, and understanding. Don't hold on to something when things are not working. At what point do you pivot? Then hiring, always hire slow. Don't be in a rush to just bring in someone. Okay. And fire quickly. The minute you start feeling this is not the right fit, let these people go. Sometimes I've met people who are fired and they come and tell me, they tell me, thank you that you let me go. At that particular time you let me go. And some of them go up to success. So it's very difficult for me to answer that question on this stage. I'm happy to meet you. Happy to explain that. But I charge. I do this for a living. So if you're asking me to help you in business setup, I'll charge you. Business transformation, I'll charge you. Let's go.
Right. So my name is Dixon Miguel. We've met many years before. I did like you, 25 years. I was in media, did everything, went around the world. There's no one I did not work for. Mm-hmm. And like you, I came back and, well, I have kind of been confused about the way forward.
Okay.
Because our Kenyan media right now is being run by some of my classmates who are accountants.
Yeah.
And so, in other words, it's like our media has died. We don't really have media. Mm. And I'm trying to create a niche where I become like a ghostwriter for people.
Okay.
And it's proving quite difficult to create that niche because it's like our people don't want to write long form stories again. Everyone just wants something that is Instagrammable, that is short and sweet. So when I was racking my mind, I decided to change tracks because I have 6 daughters and school fees to pay. Mm-hmm. So I opened a restaurant and I tried to run it because I had all these ideas about what a restaurant should be, mm-hmm. and having traveled and eaten in so many restaurants. Mm-hmm. And suffice to say, a year later, my restaurant is in storage as we speak.
Oh.
Because this is a problem I could not solve. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how to cook on a granular level and have the skill to be able to do this restaurant again. Then a friend of mine approached me to do a gas business,
okay,
which is great, but I don't know anything about gas. Mm-hmm. And like you said earlier, you lost a lot of money in business because you didn't know anything about it. Mm. Given my set of skills, which is really just media, do you see any future in our media here in Kenya? And when you're writing your book, can you consider me as a ghostwriter?
That last question, yes. I've seen you in media for a long time. Democratization of the media space has happened. Actually, if I was CEO of Nation Media Group, I don't know what I'd be telling my people. Because legacy media is at its deathbed. If you go to my YouTube channel, in 2015, I spoke at Centonomy about businesses that will no longer exist. And I'm not a prophet. You are there. 50% of the things that I spoke about has happened. I lived my life with a PA who was around me. I don't have a PA. Travel agents are the people that I spoke about. So there will be no travel agents in a short time. So secretaries, PAs, travel agents, all those things are coming to fruition. Legacy media. I don't know how many of you guys have bought a physical newspaper. But maybe some of you guys are looking at me and thinking, what's a newspaper? They're paper. Circulation used to be media's biggest earner. Now we get our news from TikTok, from Twitter, okay? Whereas Instagram we get news, on reels and stuff like that. But you get news instantly. Instantly. So media is existing and doing very, very well. Media exists, but it's not legacy media. Things have gone online. A lot of these big influencers are actually media companies. And recently I discovered, and when I say recently, don't judge me. I discovered Lynn Gogi like a month and a half ago. And I'm told she was a tuko. I discovered her when she went to JKIA. And says, now I have a right to speak. I thought, I love her balls. Have you seen how many people are advertising on her channel? Yeah? That is with the dream for legacy. And she's not the only one. I mean, we have a lot of people who are making a lot of money on the digital space. I think that's the future. And because I know you as a good man, that's where you need to start. Control your narrative, control your audience. People will come. Build it, people will come. And I'm happy to discuss my book with you. Write us blog in Menipata kabisa. And so part of my book you will see shortly. I don't want to say what I'm doing about it, but you'll be experiencing it on a daily basis. It's part of my reinvention. I'm going through a reinvention. You and I need to have a drink or a meal, not at your restaurant because it no longer exists. But I could come and help you in business transformation. Pedagogic consulting does business transformation. But for you, I'll avoid as much to engage. There's a hand up. I'll take the last two. Joy. This one has a mic already. No, she has a mic. But I'm around. If someone wants to speak to me, I'm here.
Hi, Peter.
Hey.
I am probably not a youth. Probably swinging around. Area But I recently quit employment. I've been in the gaming industry for a while, and even left very nice, handsome salaries to become a very sad entrepreneur who every time you meet, you are discussing challenges. However, I come from a school of thought that there's never a money problem. It's always an experience problem. And being in this space for a little over a year, I've realized the challenges I have had. One is working with, I try to keep up because my kids are this age, and I try to keep up because these are the people I need to connect with to get my business into the next level. But then the challenge has always been Gen Zs and us guys have struggled to, there's how we think work should be, and there's how they think work should be, and we appreciate it. But then also it becomes a bigger challenge in entrepreneurship because there's you being a visionary. I'm more like you. I'm not a brick and mortar person. I'm the person that God has given me this vision. I need people to run with it. I don't know how to get there. I just know we need to get there. But how have you been able to balance the two generational differences between the millennials and the Gen Zs, and how bring the understanding to this is a new business. Right now we are putting 150%, and then maybe in another 5 years we will need to put in maybe 70%. And how have you been able to deal with that? And especially because you've been in the entertainment industry. Well, I mean, construction, in property management and all this stuff. That's something that I have a background in engineering, but well, I did some other stuff in my employment days. Yeah, so I've had a great challenge with that. Number two is the challenge of knowing how to when we need to put in everything, you know, and then there's a time that will come that we don't have to wake up at 8 or 6 a.m. at 3 a.m., you know. But that has been my greatest challenge. So walking this journey and wanting to connect, I took a point when you said that connect with the right people, even if it means selling shares to them or giving them shares so that they are able to bring in value into the business. But then now the challenge is they have what you want. but the terms are not working out, yeah, so I've really struggled with that a lot. I'm privileged to say that the first year of my business went very well.
Yeah.
I am yet to get to those points of struggle.
We just struggle, but
I'm yet to say that people start businesses and then the first 3 months, 6 months, it's not working. 1 year, it's not working. God has been gracious enough to make it work for us, yeah? And we don't take that for granted. But then again, we have not, like what you said, we are very slow in employing, very keen knowing how can we double roles, how can we do this so that the business grows at a pace that is healthy. But we have really struggled with this generation. And unfortunately, they're the only people we can actually say, me and you, we can't sit down and start saying, so could you do a job?
You can't even understand it.
Yeah, so that has been my challenge.
Okay, all right. And you be very careful how I answer this. The biggest struggle with the Gen Z is the instant gratification. And I'll tell you a story around the alcohol space. Recently, in October, all our trucks are tracked. So the fleet manager can tell where the truck is. And some of the crates that are in the car also have trackers. Okay. And alcohol is cash. As you can imagine, if someone walked away with a case of Johnny Walker Blue, they'll take away probably our month's profit. It's an expensive drink, or the new tequila. So we wake up one day, our fleet manager sees this truck has been stalled for a while in a place called Nyamira. These guys took the truck to the police station. They left it at the police station. And there was nothing within an hour. They came with another truck and moved everything. Within 6 hours, those drinks were being sold in Kondele, in Nakuru. Okay? And a truck like that carries like 4 to 5 million shillings of alcohol. Gone. When we arrested those guys, one of them had even gone and put a deposit on a BMW. Because a young man sees the car drive and wants to live that life now. It's not possible unless you are stealing. Wealth is a process. Resilience, time. Okay? A lot of young people, currently, their cars are owned by banks. You want to drive the car that I drive, whatever I bought it for, now, with your salary now. So you'll have to still that instant gratification. I want to live this life now. And the Instagram generation is like that. Everyone on Instagram is rich and beautiful. But deep down we are not. Don't live your life for show. That's my problem with this instant gratification issue, that nobody wants to go through it. So we have a lot of theft by servant that is happening. The second one is no respect of contracts. No respect of contracts. People quit today. No notice, you find a letter on your desk, the person is gone, and that person you are going to do a project with them the next day. And many of you guys quit without having another job. My generation would never have left a job unless you have found another one. We used to sit, okay, and nobody ever think of staying in the same job for a long time. Again, our parents maybe, the first job is how they retired. 3 months you are in this job, until they never put it on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, they moved some of the 2 jobs they did for 6 months. That's their problem. What they have right is creativity. These are very, very creative. So if you put them in a space where the creative juices are flowing, they will end up staying. Okay? The other thing is, you can never reward Gen Z with just money. Your work environment, employee value proposition, those are the things they are looking at. Accessibility to leadership, yeah, making sure that the structure of the company is as flat as possible. Those are the things that inspire them. So you need to identify what drives them, what they care about, and make your space that way. I never thought at any single time I'll ever set up a hybrid business where people don't come to work throughout. So I focus on the outcome, not face time. I never thought at one day that would happen. You want to wake up, Monday morning meeting, everyone is in. This is what we're going to do, this old school. Can never work. So you and I are fossils. The work environment has changed completely. So they have their weaknesses like we did. Yeah? They have the same weaknesses. I walked into my first job 30 years ago with locks. I had dreads. Even you had dreads at one time. Guess what my boss told me that day? Tomorrow you don't come with that. He was Indian only. Don't come with that hair. I had to go and cut it. She would have had me in campus when I used to tell guys, I'm going to keep these locks forever. We were forced. You can't do this with Gen Z. In fact, how do you even explain to them? One will ask you, boss, what does my hair got to do with where I work here? So we have to walk this journey with them, and I understand. And when Gen Alpha is coming, I'm sorry for you guys. Those are your kids and your people you're going to manage. This will even be very tough. These guys who have lived on tabs and TV, they're going to be tougher. But every generation goes through that. Our parents are baby boomers. I used to be a break dancer. It was my biggest fight with my parents. The fact that I thought I would be a break dancer for life. And I used to love it. I mean, I never wanted to go to college. I wanted to break dance. At my age today, can I break dance? So my parents were right in a way. So we also need to give them grace and guidance at the same time. I need to close here because okay, last one. You guys, catch me at the door. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. My name is Siloma Steven. I run a digital agency called Bright Consulting, and I mentor a lot of young people. I come from a marginalized community, and not most of my peers are learned. So for like 5 years, I've been trying to build an LMS online, which I have through a lot of failure. And what I did, I aggregated a lot of YouTube courses there and offered them for free.
Right.
So after doing that, that acts as a lead magnet where I now mentor them in business and how to set up their own digital agencies. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of young people that I've brought from jobless to having their own agencies in graphic design, web development, photography, videography. I just deal with digital creatives. Mm-hmm. Now the challenge comes in, I give them a free platform where they can learn. So me mentoring them in business, they want it also for free. And two, they want to copy me. They want to be me. And I teach them how to be their own themselves. And the other challenge I'm having is there a mentor for mentors? Because sometimes it's very, very challenging because I've lived in the ghetto for 6 years.
Right.
And I've gotten a lot of them out of that to actually having meaning for themselves. Some got out of the streets and bought laptops, pay for a house for a few days and teach them the process of earning online, and which they have. Now, the challenge is that it can be very tasking. Yeah. And you just talk, hey, I know you from TikTok. I know you. Can you help me here and there? So how do you manage that as a mentor where everybody wants to feed from you and drain from you? And is there a mentor for mentors? That is exactly what I'm asking. Thank you.
Great, thank you. It already seems you're doing things right. Your heart is in the right place. Your mind is in the right place. One of the conditions about mentoring is the person I mentor must have a mentee. So you could be in campus, take a high schooler. The same way I have a mentor. And sometimes I organize my mentee and my mentor to meet. Okay? So you're already doing things right. Now, challenge. We go through life and you're pouring yourself to very many people. And most of the calls you get is people want your time or your money. And you have to live with it. Especially if you're going to become successful. What you need to be able to do is communicate your availability, and this is the time that I can give. I can only speak to these people for 2-3 hours. So this I need to go and try and make money in other ways. So you need, actually what you need is to join a founders group. Okay? Founders groups are people of the same generation who have founded business, you're able to discuss your challenges because you're peers. When I became a CEO at 32, I joined an organization called the Young CEOs. So there are people like me who are going through the same challenges, okay? And now I sit in many founders forums. Okay? So that's what I encourage you guys. And I want us to talk. Guys, let me plug my business now that I'm stepping out. Peter Nduati Consulting on socials. If you want to reach me directly, peter@peternduati.com. And I thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys around this weekend.